the first public impeachment hearings. You may be wondering, if you're watching them, why it's someone who's not elected asking questions of the two witnesses. And that will be the case also for the Republicans. They agreed that their counsels, who did most of the questioning for the Democrats and the Republicans in the closed, in the basement, the hearings that were not public, and ultimately we're getting most of the transcripts, not all, but most from those, that these are the attorneys who did most of the questioning. For Republicans, who he hasn't come on yet, that attorney's been there since 2005, was from the House Oversight Committee, was very tough on Fast and Furious, very tough on the IRS targeting of conservatives. So he is someone, again, with a lot of experience. First it was Russia, Russia, Russia. Now it's Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukraine. Two places which couldn't be more different in their politics, since one of those countries invaded the other. And by the way, only the Trump administration, I want to put this out there, only the Trump administration has provided actual military aid to Ukraine. The Obama administration refused to do so. So when you heard Bill Taylor just moments ago, and I want to say it just quickly, if you heard that from him, this is Ambassador Taylor, who took the job after they recalled the Ukrainian ambassador. She still works for the State Department. So he takes the job. He's still working there, by the way. He didn't leave. He didn't think he had to quit, even though he said the policy must meet my positions or else I'm quitting, and he's threatened to quit a number of times. Guess who still works as our head representative to the Ukraine? I think he's charged affairs since we recalled our ambassador. Bill Taylor. Let's just start off, in case you haven't been following it all, or it's just kind of like information overload, kind of try to break down important moments for you. So let's start with Adam Schiff. He begins the hearing on a different note that we've seen Adam Schiff, to be honest. He didn't try to, make up transcripts, but what he did try to do was kind of make allegations of what criminal conduct the president may have been involved. What is impeachable here? What are you going to write up as your articles of impeachment that aren't just policy disputes you don't like? So here's Adam Schiff.
This is what we believe the testimony will show, both as to the president's conduct and as to his obstruction of Congress. The issue that we confront is the one posed by the president's acting chief of staff when he challenged Americans to get over it. If we find that the President of the United States abused his power and invited foreign interference in our elections, or if he sought to condition, coerce, extort, or bribe an ally into conducting investigations to aid his reelection campaign and did so by withholding official acts, a White House meeting, or hundreds of millions of dollars of needed military aid, must we simply get over it?
By the way, even though I don't believe this whole thing was conditioned on and there's quid pro quo, and even though you could defend a lot of that, Joe Biden doesn't get a pass from criminal investigations and his son from wrongdoing just because he ran for president. He doesn't get a pass. Again, it's a policy decisions whether you like it or not, but he shouldn't get a pass just because he's running for president. Here is then Devin Nunes. He's the ranking member. So you heard just Adam Schiff. That was kind of his main opening. Here are the crimes we think you will understand will be proved from this testimony. And here is Devin Nunes' response and his opening statement.
After the spectacular implosion of their Russia hoax on July 24th, in which they spent years denouncing any Republican who ever shook hands with a Russian, on July 25th, they turned on a dime and now claim the real malfeasance is Republicans' dealings with Ukraine. In the blink of an eye, we're asked to simply forget about Democrats on this committee, falsely claiming they had more than circumstantial evidence of collusion between President Trump and Russians.
They're seeing this as a policy dispute by one disgruntled employee, George Kent, and another guy who was Ambassador Taylor, who said, I'm not going to take this job if the policy isn't the policy I want. Well, that's not how the Constitution works, and yet he still keeps his job. He hasn't quit yet, Dad.
Well, no, Jordan, you said it exactly correct. What has this shown? This has shown that all this is right now is a hour-and-a-half long policy dispute. Yeah. And the thing is, if these ambassadors and members of the State Department were in fact elected to office as president, they could dispute this. But the fact is, the president is the president. He sets the foreign policy. The Secretary of State implements. And this is a policy dispute. And what you've got, if this is the basis upon, I want people to understand this. This, I think, is important for people to understand, that this is the basis upon which Adam Schiff is seeking to impeach the President of the United States, to undo an election for President of the United States. Based on what? These are their two lead witnesses that don't like the president's plan? Well, tough. I mean, that's really the answer to this. Tough.